Hello and welcome to the tutorial for Doris Day's Sera Sera, which was a part of a 1956 Alfred Hitchcock movie called The Man Who Knew Too Much. And the song actually received an Academy Award for the Best New Song in a Motion Picture. Doris Day died today. It is May 13th, 2019, and when I came home we had a rare day without much going on, so I was able to work along a play along for the song, which only has 3 chords. Finally, the other thing that I wanted to say about this song is to put it into context of culture. Again, it was the Academy Award winner for Best New Song in a movie, but to put that into context, this song had the same value in our culture as Shallow did this past year with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, and all the songs from A Greatest Showman a year ago. So it's often really good to get grounded into what kind of music led to today's music. And I will also say that if you ever play in a group with some older players, they will request this song. I've been in a number of jam sessions where this song in particular has been requested. So it's worth knowing so that not only can you experience what previous generations experienced, but in the case that you actually end up playing with other generations, you can share music together. Now, before we go any further, as always, I ask you to consider subscribing. And if you haven't, also consider joining my Patreon and supporting the work that I do there. The ukuleles I'm going to use today, and I am going to do a short tutorial both on GCEA and DGBE baritone ukulele. So the ukulele I'm using for GCEA, Standard Reentrant Tuning, is my Lanakai LU21 Soprano. The ukulele I'm using for my baritone tutorial is my Lanakai LU21 Baritone. On the soprano ukulele, there are 3 chords. The first one is A major. You'll put your first finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret, second finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. That's A major. The second chord that you'll use on the GCEA standard tune ukulele will be E7. You'll put your first finger on the 4th string, 1st fret, second finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret. If you have trouble making the chord, make sure that you approach it this way at an angle rather than trying to play it straight across. The last chord that we're going to use is the D chord. Traditionally, the D chord is shown on the 2nd fret playing the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, and traditionally 1st finger on the 4th string, 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 3rd finger on the 2nd string. That's the D chord. However, if you're like me, that's a lot of fingers to put in a tiny little space. So I like to play it a little differently. I put my first finger at the top of the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. I put my 2nd finger across that in the same fret, but on the 4th string, and then my 3rd finger goes on the 2nd string on the 2nd fret. It makes a tiny G7 shape. And actually with this song, as it is in the key of A, you'll find the switch to A easier if you play D that way. On the baritone ukulele, they're almost the same chords, but I changed one specifically because of baritone ukulele, and I'll show you that. The first chord is the A chord, which is played exactly the same as the D chord on standard ukulele. So what you do is you put your first finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, your 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. That's the A chord. Unlike a standard ukulele, there's a little bit more space on a baritone, so it's not as hard to get your fingers in that spot. The second chord I'm using on baritone only is the E chord versus the E7. Now the E7 is a 1-finger chord on the baritone ukulele. First finger goes on the 3rd string, 1st fret. But because of the voicing of the chord, that E7 sounded really muddy in connection with the A. So instead, what I suggest doing is playing the E chord. So that's also a 2-finger chord. So you put your first finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret, just like it had shown you with the E7, and then the 2nd finger goes on the 4th string, 2nd fret. That's the E chord. As a side note, if you play standard ukulele, that's the A chord, but in this case, on baritone ukulele, that's E. The last chord you're going to use in this song is the D chord. You're going to put your first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, and then your 3rd finger in between them on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, making a V shape. That's your D chord. On a standard ukulele, that would be a G chord, but again, this is baritone, so that's a D chord. The song itself is not super complicated, and the biggest challenge you're going to have is to decide what strumming pattern are you going to use throughout the song. I always talk about strumming patterns, and what I always say is that it doesn't really matter what you use as long as it stays in time and that your hand keeps moving up and down as you play. I'm just going to give you a few ideas of different strumming patterns that you could use with this song that would work. If you're a beginner, the easiest pattern is probably just to play downbeats all the time. So let's do that. I'm going to play an A chord here. 1, 2, 3, ready, and go. It may help to play the downbeat of each measure with a little bit more strength. Down, 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 down. That'll give you the separation that you need. If you'd like some more advanced techniques, here's something you can do. Play the 3rd string, which is the largest string, also the lowest string, and then strum twice. That gives you the 1, 2, 3 very clearly. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, ready, and go. Another idea is that after you play one measure with the thumb, you can then pluck the string above, okay, the 2nd string, and then down strum, back to the 3rd string, 2nd string. So it would sound like this, going from rotating the 3rd string and the 2nd string. 1, 2, 3, ready, and go. Another thing you can do is you can pluck the 3rd string, strum twice, and then pluck the 4th string. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, ready, and go. Thumb, 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 thumb. Now if you don't want to strum at all, you could pluck the 3rd string with your thumb, and then pluck the 1st and 2nd strings with your 2 fingers. Can you see what I'm doing there? So I'm plucking the 3rd, then plucking the 1st and the 2nd, and you can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then to get more advanced, you can go from 3 to 4 with your thumb. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, ready, and go. Thumb, 2, 3, thumb, 2, 3, thumb, 2, 3, thumb, 2, 3. Now on a baritone ukulele or a linear tune where you have a low G instead of a high G, it may work better to try different patterns. There's one last thing that I want to talk about, however, and it's a very special part of the song. The final verse of the song is where Doris Day is singing about "Now I have children of my own," and there's almost a music box motif that's an arpeggiated thing. And I'm not really sure which pattern I would suggest to you because it changes on what kind of ukulele you're playing and how you want to do it. But basically, what you want to do is assign a thumb, 1st finger, and 2nd finger to the different strings. The thumb plays strings 4 and 3, the first finger plays string 2, and the second finger plays string 1. And you can do something like this. 3 2 3 2 4 2 3 2 3 2 4 2, and that way you're getting in the time of 3 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and as you change the chords, you may find out that you want to add other notes in there. So like the E7 doesn't sound as good doing that. 3 2 3 2 4 2 3 2 3 2 4 2. I mean, it's acceptable. Here's where you can go 3 2 4 1 4 2 3 2 4 1 4 2 3 and get that music box effect only for that one verse between A and E7 and back to A again. I hope this video has been helpful for you, because in addition to just simply being in honor of Doris Day and her contributions to our culture in terms of acting and singing and being an activist, it can also help you think about a song, perhaps in a little different time signature, a 3/4, and the different ways you can play it to make it sound different at your skill level. And if you are a traditional ukulele player, hopefully too, being exposed to baritone will keep you from being afraid of it, because all of your chord shapes still work, but they have different names. And the baritone ukulele is growing in popularity, so it is definitely worth a look. And if you start to get very comfortable with ukulele, consider throwing in baritone uke and taking the time to start learning some different names. At worst, you'll just simply have another instrument laying around. I know that all of us that play ukulele hate having extra instruments because we never have more than one. By the way, that's a joke. Just want to make sure that that's understood. And as always, I would really like to thank you for watching the video. Again, if you haven't, please subscribe. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. And as always, ukulele, it's all about you.